President Lippy, this is the moderator.
Yeah,
It is 4:05. I will go ahead and start the recording.
Yes,
and just so you know, I will keep an eye out for Mr. Brooks and promote him when he joins.
Thank you.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, welcome to the January 27th to 28th, 2021 board meeting. I'm Greg Lippy, president of the board. Before we convene, I remind everyone present that the board is a consumer protection agency charged with administering and enforcing pharmacy law. Where protection of the public is inconsistent with other interests sought to be promoted, the protection of the public shall be paramount. The meeting is being conducted consistent with the provisions of Governor Gavin Newsom's Executive Order N-29-20. Participants watching the webcast will only be able to observe the meeting. Anyone interested in participating in the meeting must join the Webex meeting. Information and instructions are posted on our website. As I facilitate this meeting, I will announce when we are accepting public comment. I've advised the moderator to allot 2 minutes to each individual providing comments. This approach is necessary to facilitate the meeting. I appreciate everyone's understanding and patience as we continue to navigate this meeting format. Before we get started, I will ask the moderator to provide general instructions. Moderator, please go ahead.
This is the moderator. For public comment today, we will be utilizing the question and answer feature in Webex. When the president calls for public comment, we will open this feature. You will be able to locate a Q&A icon on your screen. When you click on that, it will open up a window for you to type, "I would like to make a comment" into the ask field and submit that to all panelists. We will be taking public comments in the order that they are received. And second round comments will not be accepted. Each commenter will have 2 minutes to make their comment. I will be notifying you when I unmute your microphone. I will provide a 10-second reminder before your time expires. And when your time expires, I will then remute your microphone and proceed on to the next public commenter. Thank you.
Thank you, moderator. I will now take a roll call to establish a quorum. Members, as I call your name, please remember to unmute before speaking. Cheryl Butler.
Here.
Thank you. Shirley Kim.
Here.
Thank you. Sung Oh.
Here.
Thank you. Ricardo Sanchez.
Here.
Thank you. Maria Serpa.
Here.
Thank you. Debbie Veal.
Here.
Thank you. Jason Weiss.
Here.
Thank you. Albert Wong. I know he's here. He said he was here. Albert, are you unmuted? Hello? All right, we'll go on. I assume that Ryan Brooks has not come on yet, so.
Not as of yet.
Okay. All right, a quorum has been established. The board will now entertain any public comments for items not on the agenda. To facilitate this portion of the meeting, as I previously announced, the moderator will open the phone lines to give individuals the opportunity to provide public comment. You are not required to identify yourself, but you may do so. As we open the lines, I remind everyone that the board cannot take action on these items except to decide whether to place an item on a future agenda. Members, following review of the public comments for this agenda item, I will ask you to comment on what, if any, items you would like to be placed on a future agenda. Let's open the lines for public comment, moderator.
This is the moderator. We have opened the Q&A panel. If you would like to make a comment, please click on the Q&A icon on your screen, type "I would like to make a comment" into the ask field, and submit that to all panelists. Our first comment request comes from Stephen Gray. Stephen, your line is open and you will have 2 minutes.
Yes, thank you very much. Good evening, board members. I would like to put on the agenda the concern I have about the new proposed new DEA rule about the partial filling of Schedule II prescriptions. They have proposed a rule that is considerably different from the past and considerably different from what California recognizes. And so I think you should put that on the agenda for a policy discussion about it and the potential for submitting comments to the DEA. The deadline is coming up soon, but I suspect there is going to be enough concern about the rule that they will extend the deadline for comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Our next commenter is Nathan Painter. Nathan, your line is open and you will have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you also, board members. I would just like to, for consideration for a future agenda, consider more in-depth discussion about cannabis label and warnings, as the Board of Pharmacy is for consumer protection, and the cannabis industry is certainly increasing across the state. I believe that warnings should be coming from the pharmacists, not from the cannabis dispensaries, as they are certainly not healthcare professionals to evaluate drug interactions. Certainly understand the balance of Schedule I status as far as federal and the decriminalization across, obviously in the entire state. So just for further consideration for labeling, safety, drug interactions, or other things for the future coming from the pharmacy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next commenter is Joe Grisella. Joe, your line is open. You will have 2 minutes.
Thank you. At the meetings that we have, at the committee meetings, the public is open for comment, and you have 2 minutes, which is fine. The problem comes in is after the person makes the comment, board members got questions or possibly don't understand and don't completely have the message. So they will ask questions, but because the microphone is shut off on the person who made the comment, you cannot respond. We've seen at least 3 instances last enforcement committee meeting where it was not clear and the person was shut off. Therefore, we're only getting a one-way type conversation. I think this is an easy correct. My suggestion is leave that person's microphone on until you move to the next person. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Our next comment comes from Samuel Fakari. Samuel, your line is open and you will have 2 minutes.
Good afternoon to the board. My name is Samuel. I am currently the pharmacist in charge at Ralph's Pharmacy in Los Angeles, California. I've been the pharmacist in charge for the previous 5 years, and I'm committed to doing my part in fighting the COVID pandemic, but I have some very serious concerns. I believe that the way our pharmacy staff are being asked to do COVID vaccinations is in violation of SB 1442 and patient safety. Over the course of the past 2 weeks, we have appointments set up for every 10 minutes with 1 pharmacist on staff. I have seen a significant increase in prescription errors, and from my surrounding district members as well. I ask that you guys look into this, as patient safety is paramount. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Seeing no additional requests, would you like me to close the Q&A panel?
Yes, please.
It is closed.
Okay, members, having received public comment, I'll now take a roll call to ask if any of you would like to include any item on a future agenda. Again, please remember to unmute before you speak. Cheryl Butler.
Yes, I certainly would like what the last person who came up, Samuel, spoke about the problem that's going on with COVID, and the fact that the staff is overwhelmed. And I've also heard that from many, many pharmacists since the rollout, that they don't have adequate staff, they don't have adequate time.
Hi, if we could just vote on adding that item to the agenda rather than giving opinion about it, then that would be helpful.
Okay, all right, then I would like to have that added, and also what Stephen Gray suggested in so much as the new DEA rule policy discussion.
Thank you, Cheryl.
I can second that if it needed.
No, it's not needed to add to an agenda. Thank you, so. Okay. Next would be Shirley Kim.
No comments.
Thank you. Sung?
If allowed, can we have Mr. Gray? I mean, if it's okay, I'm just curious what's the latest DA proposed rule. If there's a short version that we could hear, I would appreciate that. I think this is what I'm missing about being in the in-person environment, because we could have some discussion, but it's just, you know, remote, it's difficult. But if it's allowed, I would love to hear, but I don't have anything to add.
Okay, well, actually, even if we were face to face, we're not really supposed to be discussing anything. We're just allowed to put it on a future agenda. So, Council, could you tell me if we're allowed to have Mr. Gray speak again and tell us more about it?
If you would like to give Mr. Gray a tad bit more time just to talk about the general, I think he said it was dealing with partial fills of controlled substances. If the board and that it departs from California law or prior practice, if there's something else you would need to know with respect to whether you'd like to add that on to an agenda someplace, then I think you could give
okay.
a tad bit more time. But we don't want to really go into the substance of it.
Got it. So, Steve Gray, do you want to give us a little more info on it?
This is the moderator. And Mr. Gray, I have opened your microphone.
Yes, this is Steve Gray. Thank you very much. Actually, I appreciate the question. I appreciate the comments about abilities, but it is not a quick subject that I can explain.
Okay.
I will say that the deadline, the first deadline, is coming up next week, but you can go into Google and do the right Google searches and find out the proposed rule, and you will see that it's quite different.
Thank you, Steve. Okay. Sung, was there anything else you wanted to mention? Or anything you want to put on the agenda?
I'm good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, Ricardo Sanchez?
Yeah, no comment.
Okay, thank you. Maria Serpa?
Nothing to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Debbie Veal?
Nothing to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Jason Weiss?
No. Thank you.
Thank you. Albert Wong? Albert, are you unmuted? Moderator, is Albert still with us?
He is. Let me unmute him. Maybe he's having some challenges with that. Albert, I have unmuted your microphone if you can hear us.
Yeah, I can hear you, but I cannot speak. I can hear you.
We can hear you now, Albert.
You can hear me, but I lost my page. I cannot unmute my thing.
Okay.
Oh, so you can't unmute yourself.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I lost the page.
Moderator, can you, well, actually, can you just leave him unmuted?
I can, or when you call on him, I can unmute him at that time as well.
Well, let me try to see if I could go off and log back on. Okay. I could hear you guys. Go ahead.
All right. Okay, well, I'll go ahead. So there were two items that we wanted to add to the agenda. That was the item of the partial fillings of the Schedule 2s and the issue over the COVID vaccine. Next is, let's see, agenda item 3. It's now time for me to welcome Carrie Holmes, Deputy Director, Board and Bureau Relations, to provide the board with an update from the Department of Consumer Affairs. Welcome, Carrie. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Board President Lippy and members. I'm Carrie Holmes, Deputy Director, Board and Bureau Relations at the Department of Consumer Affairs. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to provide a department update to your board. As you all know, COVID-19 has affected every aspect of our work at DCA and the boards and bureaus. In response to public health guidance and state and regional stay-at-home orders, state offices closed to the public beginning December 7th, 2020. Just this past Monday, the California Department of Public Health lifted the regional stay-at-home orders statewide, and counties have returned to following the blueprint for a safer economy. With the lifting of orders, all DCA programs will reopen any closed state offices and reestablish all services no later than February 1st, 2021. However, the administration continues to set a goal for at least 75% of employees to telework, and programs should continue that approach to the extent possible. Maximizing telework will help reduce COVID transmission risk for all employees. Public health measures such as distancing, face covering, and frequent hand washing are required for employees who cannot telework. Thank you to your Executive Officer, Ann Sodergren, and staff who have been working so hard to maintain excellent customer service and protect the public throughout these challenging times. Next week, on February 2nd, DCA will launch our brand new board president training for presidents and vice presidents. In this 2-hour session, we will explore the roles and duties of the board president and hear from past presidents on their experiences and lessons learned. The training is designed to give new board presidents the tools that they need to effectively run a meeting, work with their board members, and partner with the executive officer. It also will help experienced presidents and vice presidents refine their leadership. Thank you so much to Board President Lippy for helping DCA to develop this training. We hope to see you and Vice President Veal there. I'm pleased to let you know that Board and Bureau Relations, in partnership with Solid Training, has also developed a brand new board member orientation training. The first BMOT will be held via Webex on March 11th. Even if you've attended BMOT in the past, you'll find great value in the training, which has been updated based on board member feedback and requests. As a reminder, newly appointed and reappointed board members are required to take this training within a year of their appointment date. To register and for more details, please visit the DCA Board Member Resource Center located at the department's website. As a reminder, 2021 is a mandatory sexual harassment prevention training year. This means all employees and board members are required to complete the training during this year. Additionally, Form 700 filings are due by April 1st, 2021. Board members are designated appointees and required to complete a Form 700, even if you have no reportable interests. If you have any questions about how to file, you can speak to the department's Conflict of Interest Filing Officer, Jill Johnson, in the DCA Office of Human Resources. Finally, I'd like to let you know about 2 exciting new initiatives launched by DCA Director Kirkmeyer for 2021 to enhance DCA services to all boards and bureaus. The first is an Executive Officer and Bureau Chief Cabinet. This group of board and bureau executives will maintain regular communication, provide feedback and information to DCA, and assist with special projects that will impact all boards and bureaus. The second is the Enlighten Licensing Project. This work group is being formed to utilize licensing subject matter experts from within the entire Department of Consumer Affairs. The group will help individual boards and bureaus streamline and make their licensing processes more effective and efficient by utilizing best practices, information technology, and cost-saving measures. These 2 new initiatives are just kicking off, and we'll keep you updated on their work and impacts. As always, Board and Bureau Relations is here to help. If there's anything we can do to assist, please reach out. This concludes my update, and I'll hand it back over to Board President Lippy.
Thank you, Carrie. Members, do you have any questions for Ms. Holmes?
Great, I'm back on now.
Okay. Do you have a question for Ms. Holmes or not? I guess not.
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay, nobody spoke up. Okay, well, thank you again, Carrie. Much
Thank
appreciated.
you.
Next is agenda item 4, approval of the board minutes. Now, we've got several minutes that we need to go through, and I'm going to be taking one at a time. So let's start with the October 27th, 28th, 2020 board meeting minutes. Does anybody have any questions or comments related to those minutes? Members? Okay. In that case, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Greg, I can make that motion.
Thank you.
Second that.
Okay, we got motion, Debbie, and who, did somebody second?
Hi, this is Song. I second.
Son, okay, thank you, son. Second. Okay, let's go on to the, well, let's see. Okay, well, I guess we have to vote on it, so. But we first have to have public comment. So public comment, let's open up the lines and see if anybody has a comment on those meetings.
This is the moderator. We have opened the Q&A panel. We're displaying instructions for your use. If you'd like to make a comment, please click on the Q&A icon on your screen. Type, I would like to make a comment into the ask field and submit that to all panelists. Seeing no requests, would you like me to close the panel? Okay.
Thank you. Okay, the next group is November 19th, 2020 board meeting.
We need to vote?
Yeah, that's right, we do. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, Cheryl Butler,
Yes.
thank you. Shirley Kim,
Yes.
thank you. Sung Ho,
Yes.
thank you. Ricardo Sanchez,
Yes.
thank you. Maria Serpent,
Yes.
thank you. Debbie Veal,
Yes.
thank you. Jason Weiss,
Yes.
thank you. Albert Wong,
Yes.
thank you. Okay, it passes. Now we will go on to the November 19th, 2020 minutes. Members, do any of you have any questions or comments related to those minutes? Okay, hearing none, moderator, let's open for public comment.
But can I make a motion first?
Is your motion to try to do them all at one time? Because I already tried, we can't do it.
I don't think we even have a motion to accept the November 19 yet.
Okay, you can make that motion, sure. Go
I'll
ahead.
make that. I'd like to accept the November 19 minutes.
Great,
This is Cheryl. I second.
thank you. Okay, now we can go to public comment.
This is the moderator. We have again opened the Q&A panel. If you'd like to make a public comment, please click on the Q&A icon on the screen. Type, I would like to make a comment into the ask field and submit that to all panelists. Seeing no requests, would you like me to close the panel?
Yes, please.
It is closed.
Okay, not receiving any comments from members or from the public. It's now time to vote on our motion with a second. So I will call roll again. Cheryl Butler,
Yes.
thank you. Shirley Kim,
Yes.
thank you. Sung Oh,
Yes.
thank you. Ricardo Sanchez,
Yes.
thank you. Maria Serpa,
Yes.
thank you. Debbie Veal,
Yes.
thank you. Jason Weiss,
Yes.
thank you. Albert Wong,
Yes.
thank you. Motion passes. Okay, the next group of minutes is
President Lippy, I apologize for the interruption. Could we just confirm for the record, are you voting yes on those last two motions?
yes, I did. Thank you.
Actually, we're voting on the November 19th motion.
Yeah. But
We
we
had already
also,
voted on the October 27th.
correct. So she's asking me if I had voted yes on both, and I'm just saying yes. I did.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood. My bad.
I'm saying yes. Okay. I'll be louder next time. Okay, December 3rd, 2020 minutes. Are there any comments from members first? Okay, would somebody like to make a motion?
It's Jason, I will.
Jason, thank you. Second? Somebody?
This is Debbie, I'll second.
Debbie, second. Okay, hearing no comments, and we have motion and a second. Let's open up for public.
This is the moderator. We've again opened the Q&A panel for public comment. If you would like to submit a comment, please click on the Q&A icon on the screen, type "I would like to make a comment" into the Ask field, and submit that to all panelists.
Hearing none, let's close it up.
It is closed.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion, we have a second, so it's time to vote on the December 3rd minutes. Cheryl Butler,
Yes.
thank you. Shirley Kim,
Yes.
thank you. Sung Oh,
Yes.
thank you. Ricardo Sanchez,
Yes.
thank you. Maria Serpa,
Yeah, yes.
thank you. Debbie Veal,
Yes.
thank you. Jason Weiss,
Yes.
thank you. Albert Wong,
Yes.
thank you. I vote yes. Motion passes. The final draft minutes for our consideration are those of December 10th, 2020. Are there any comments or questions by members? Okay, hearing none, can I get a motion?
Hi, this is Song. I can make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Sang.
And I second. This is Cheryl.
Thank you, Cheryl. Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Let's open for public comment.
This is the moderator. We have opened the Q&A panel for public comment. If you'd like to make a comment, please click on the Q&A icon on your screen, type "I would like to make a comment" into the Ask field, and submit that to all panelists.
Okay, hearing none, let's close it up.
It is closed.
Thank you. Okay, we will now vote on this, on the December 10th minutes. So, Cheryl Butler,
Yes.
thank you. Shirley Kim,
Yes.
thank you. Sung Oh,
Yes.
thank you. Ricardo Sanchez,
Yes.
thank you. Maria Serpa,
Yes.
thank you. Debbie Veal,
Yes.
thank you. Jason Weiss,
Yes.
thank you. Albert Wong,
Yes.
thank you. I vote yes, the motion passes. Okay, next is agenda item 5, discussion and consideration of requests to waive pharmacy law provisions consistent with the Authority of Business and Profession Code Section 4062. The next item for action is consideration of staff recommendations to extend temporary licenses issued for purposes of COVID-19 related purposes. I note that the meeting materials indicate that 2 of these temporary licenses were issued specifically to respond to surges in COVID-19, and the 3rd was issued specifically for purposes of COVID-19 vaccine distribution. The first of our considerations is the temporary license issued for the California Department of Public Health Alternative Care Site, Sacramento. The meeting materials provide the license history of the license. You will note that the license was reactivated on November 19th, 2020, and will expire February 17th, 2021, unless extended. Board staff recommend extension of the hospital license until August 31st, 2021, or until the surge location is no longer operating, whichever occurs first. I believe the recommendation is appropriate and would appreciate our members' thoughts. I'm going to call roll asking for comments, and I will also accept a motion during that process. So here we go. I'll start with Albert Wong. Albert?
No
any
comment for now.
Okay, thank you. Jason Weiss.
No comment.
Thank you. Debbie Veal.
I have no comment, but I would be happy to make a motion to accept the way to what's
The
the right?
extension?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion. Does anybody want to second it before I go further?
May I clarify that the motion is to extend it until August 31st as recommended?
That's correct.
Yes, that is what I intended to say. Thank you, Ann.
Hi, this is Song. I can second that, Greg.
Thank you, Sung. Okay, now, Sung, did you have a comment other than to second it?
No, I'm good. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Maria? Serpa? Any
No,
comment?
no additional comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Ricardo Sanchez?
No, no comments.
Thank you. Shirley Kim?
No comments, thank you.
Thank you. Cheryl Butler?
No comment, thank you.
Okay, having a motion and a second, let's open up for public comment.
This is the moderator. We have opened the Q&A panel for public comment. If you'd like to make a comment, please click on the Q&A icon on the screen. Type, I would like to make a comment into the ask field and submit that to all panelists.
Okay, hearing none, let's close it.
It is closed.
Okay, we will now vote on the motion to extend the hospital license until August 31st, 2021. And I will start with Jason Weiss.
Yes.
Thank you. Albert Wong.
Yes.
Thank you. Maria Serpa.
Yes.
Thank you. Debbie Veal.
Yes.
Thank you. Sung Oh.
Yes.
Thank you. Ricardo Sanchez.
Yes.
Thank you. Shirley Kim.
Yes.
Thank you. Cheryl Butler.
Yes.
Thank you. And I vote yes, the motion passes. Okay. The next temporary license for our consideration is on LACC number 1 pharmacy. Again, the licensure history is provided in the meeting materials. Staff is recommending an extension of the pharmacy license until August 31, 2021, or until the surge location is no longer operating, whichever occurs first. I will call for members' comments. So, Cheryl Butler.
No comment.
No comment? Okay. Shirley Kim.
No comment, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Sung Oh.
No comment. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you. Ricardo Sanchez.
No comment.
Thank you. Maria Serpa.
Nothing to add, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Debbie Veal? Debbie Veal? Did we lose you? Okay,
No,
let's
I forgot. I just forgot to unmute myself. Sorry.
Okay.
I have no comment, but I'd like to make a motion to extend LACC number 1 pharmacy PHE 578785 their license until August 31st, 2021, or until the surge location is no longer operating, whichever occurs first.
Thank you. Okay, and Jason Weiss, any comment?
None, thank you.
Okay, Albert Wong, any comment?
No, thank you.
I will second the motion. So we have a motion, we have a second, and it's time to open for the public.
This is the moderator. We have opened the Q&A panel. If you'd like to make a public comment, please click on the Q&A icon on the screen. Type "I would like to make a comment" into the Ask field and submit that to all panelists. Seeing no requests, would you like me to close the panel?
Yes, please.
It is closed.
Okay, we will now take roll call vote on the motion to extend the license for LACC number 1 pharmacy until August 31, 2021, or until the surge location is no longer operating, whichever occurs first. Cheryl Butler.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Shirley Kim.
Yes.
Thank you. Sung Oh.
Yes.
Thank you. Ricardo Sanchez.
Yes.
Thank you. Maria Serpa.
Yes.
Thank you. Debbie Veal.
Yes.
Thank you. Jason Weiss.
Yes.
Thank you. Albert Wong.
Yes.
Thank you. And I vote yes, and the motion passes. Okay. The last extension of a temporary license for our consideration is the non-resident third-party logistics provider license issued to Mckesson Specialty. The license history is provided in the meeting materials. The temporary license for this location was issued to facilitate distribution of COVID-19 vaccine. The meeting materials detail the current challenges with issuing a permanent license to the location. Members, you may recall that the board is recommending changes to its licensure requirements to address the current barrier to permanent licensure for this location. The recommendation from staff is to extend the non-resident third-party logistics provider license until December 31, 2021, or until such time as Mckesson Medical Surgical obtains appropriate licensure in the resident state, or until changes in California law are secured, whichever occurs first. I agree with the staff's recommendations, and I will call roll to get comments or questions, and I will be looking for a motion. So I'll start with Albert Wong.
Comment.
No comment. Okay. Jason Weiss.
No comment.
Okay. Debbie Veal. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, I have no comment, but I will be happy to offer a motion.
Thank you.
The motion
Your
would be
motion?
that Mckesson Medical Surgical Inc. NPL 1258, that we extend their non-resident 3PL license until December 31st, 2021, or until such time as either Mckesson Medical Surgical obtains appropriate licensure in the resident state, or until changes in California law are secured, whichever occurs first.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay. Maria Serpa. Comments, or would you like to second the motion?
Sorry, I was having a problem getting off mute. I will go ahead and second that motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ricardo Sanchez, any comments?
No comment.
Thank you. Sung Oh, any comments?
No comments.
Thank you. Shirley Kim, any comments?
No comment, thank you.
Thank you. Cheryl Butler, any comments?
No comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion, we have a second, and it's time to open for public comment.
This is the moderator. We have again opened the Q&A panel. If you'd like to make a comment, please click on the Q&A icon on your screen. Type, "I would like to make a comment" into the Ask field and submit that to all panelists.
Okay. Hearing none, let's close it up.
It is closed.
Thank you. Okay, it's time to vote on the motion, which is to extend the non-resident third-party logistics provider license for Mckesson Medical Surgical till December 31, 2021, or until they obtain an appropriate licensure in their resident state, or until changes in California law are secured, whichever occurs first. Cheryl Butler.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Shirley Kim.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Sung Oh.
Yes.
Thank you. Ricardo Sanchez.
Yes.
Thank you. Maria Serpa.
Yes.
Thank you. Debbie Veal.
Yes.
Thank you. Jason Weiss.
Yes.
Thank you. Albert Wong.
Yes.
Thank you. I vote yes. The motion passes. Next is agenda item 5, update on the pharmacist licensure examination audit performed by the Office of Professional Examination Services. Members, we will now hear from Dr. Tracy Montez, Chief Divisions of Program and Policy Review, who will provide the board with an update on the status of the review of the North American Pharmacist Licensure Examination and the California Practice Standards and Jurisprudence Examination. Dr. Montez, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, President Lippy and board members. Good afternoon, almost evening. I have a brief update to provide to you. As you are aware, the board requested that the department's Office of Professional Examination Services complete a comprehensive review of the North American Pharmacist Licensure Examination and the California Practice Standards and Jurisprudence Examination. The NAPLEX, as you know, is developed and administered by the National Association of Boards of Pharmacy, and the CPJE is developed by the board in collaboration with its testing consultant, PSI. So the purpose of this review was to evaluate the suitability of using the NAPLEX and the CPJE for licensure of pharmacists in California. We do know, according to Business and Professions Code Section 139, that licensing boards and bureaus within DCA are required to ensure that examination programs used in the California licensure process comply with psychometric and legal standards. In January of this year, we received our final information from the board, and the NABP related to the NAPLEX and the CPJE. And we are putting that final information together in our report, which will be submitted to the board before February 28th, 2021. I can safely say that the report will demonstrate that both the NAPLEX and the CPJE do comply with psychometric standards, and we do have evidence that the board should continue to utilize the California Practice Standards and Jurisprudence examination as a supplemental process to address those unique health and safety laws required a pharmacist to practice in California. The report will go into much greater detail about the various findings and how those standards are met, and it will also include recommendations to strengthen both your examination process as well as suggested recommendations for a NAPLEX to be consistent with California's expectations. And I'm happy to answer any questions that your board members may have.
Thank you, Dr. Montez. I'll now open the discussion for members to ask questions. Does anyone have questions for Dr. Montez?
Greg,
Yes.
this is Song. I am not sure because I have a feeling some questions that we want to ask that Dr. Montez may need to be in closed session. I don't know if that's allowed, but I'm curious if that's possible. But then again, if it's not allowed, that's fine. I can individually try to ask some questions through Ann or something.
Okay. Let's ask our counsel.
Some of the things that we cover in closed session obviously will be with respect to the administration, and maybe some of those questions might be answered when the final report comes out. So if you're unsure about whether you're going to go into the preparation, approval, grading, or administration of either of those exams, then it's probably better to wait for closed session or wait until the final report comes out to see if they're addressed.
Very good. That's your answer, Sung. So you can wait till closed session.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, let's open for public comment.
This is the moderator. We have opened the Q&A panel. If you'd like to make a public comment, please click on the Q&A icon on your screen. Type, "I would like to make a comment" into the ask field and submit that to all panelists. We have a request for comment from Daniel Martinez. Daniel, your line is open and you will have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Danny Martinez with the California Pharmacists Association. I actually have a couple questions. So I understand by reading the memo that was sent to the board that there is the scope of the review that was being conducted is documented in an interagency contract agreement. My first question is that contract agreement available for the public?
This is Dr. Montez, and it should be available for the public, yes.
Okay. And then second question I had is I have not read the scope of this review, but was there a consideration in comparing the CPJE to the board administering the MPJE in its place, and whether that comparison was made?
Again, this is Dr. Montez, and no, that comparison has not taken place, but if the board so chooses or directs OPS to do that, we can do that as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Seeing no additional requests, would you like me to close the panel?
Yes, please. Thank you again, Dr. Montez. We look forward to receiving the final report and would welcome you back to a future meeting when discussion is scheduled on the final report.
Thank you.
Thank you. As indicated on the agenda, the board will now move into a closed session. Thank you, members of the public, for joining our meeting today. As indicated on the agenda, due to technological limitations, adjournment for the day will not be broadcast. However, it will immediately follow closed session, and no other items of business will be discussed for the day. We will resume the open session of our meeting tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Board members, make sure to use the link in order to go into the Webex closed session. as you have been informed, we are doing the WebEx closed session this time instead of a phone conversation. Thank you, and members, I'll see you in the next WebEx session. Let's close it up.